Thanks. Guys ready? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 13th, 2026 Planning Board meeting. I'd like to start with the pledge, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States. Happy New Year, everybody. A few announcements before we get going. Pretty standard ones. The emergency exits are to your left and right. The restrooms are out the back doors and to the left. Please be sure to sign the attendance sheet, which is on the back table of the meeting room, even if you're a developer and presenting this an application. There are also business cards on the back table with copies of tonight's agenda and any resolutions that we may be acting on. Please silence your cell phones, turn off the ringers so you don't disrupt the meeting and those trying to present. And take any conversations you may wish to have amongst yourselves out the back doors and close behind you so that it won't disrupt the meeting as well. Thank you. We have 4 meeting minutes. Lisa's been busy to approve, and I think that everyone up here has been at all 4 meetings. So are there any comments, questions, or changes needed for Lisa on any of them? No. Okay. Trish? Nothing? Okay. So I'll entertain a motion for approval of all 4.
I'll move.
Al moves.
I'll second.
Scott seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. 5-0. We have 2 items of correspondence, one from Tammy Van Buren regarding the Eastview Mall, and another from Dave Anderson, also regarding the Eastview Mall. Board and committee updates. Dave Condon's here from the town board. Happy New Year, Dave.
Not a lot to report tonight. I just wanted to let you know that we had our organizational meeting. We got started. We welcomed Jen Tipton, who's a new board member. She was sworn in the other night, and she's taking over from Mike Guinan, who stepped down, kind of retired after 50 years of service. I think he's going to stay on the LDC and stay active, but he's no longer on the town board. Jen, myself, and Drew Cusimano will be your liaisons this year. We're each taking a 4-month rotation, and we'll try to cover for each other when they can't make it. And the other thing I wanted to encourage you is that throughout the year, if you have questions that come up and comments or things that you'd like more clarification from the board, reach out. I mean, you know, we're all pulling the rope in the same direction. We're all trying to do what's right by our town. And, I think that communication piece is really important. And I thank you for your service. I haven't had a chance to see Tricia here, but I'm pleased to see her. And, you veterans have given up a lot of your time and continue to do so, and I appreciate that. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
And congratulations to you, Dave, and thanks for coming this evening. Keith, planning board updates?
Good evening, Keith Maynard, project manager for the town of Victor. Your next planning board meeting will be Tuesday, January 27th at 7 p.m. New to your agenda will be AT&T Singular Wireless at 914 Brownsville Road. Applicant is requesting approval to modify its equipment on the 140-foot lattice tower. This will include installing 3 antennas, 6 pipe-to-pipe clamps, 3 2 by 12-inch and 10-inch pipes. Next one is the Valenti Minor Subdivision. Applicant is requesting approval to subdivide a 7.04 acre parcel into 2 proposed lots. Lot 1 will consist of 6.408 acres, and the existing house. And Lot 2 will consist of 0.623 acres, and that's at 6948 Aldridge Road. Third new application is for Victor Community Church Front Addition. This is at 7500 7512 State Route 251. Applicant is requesting approval to construct an expansion of 6,920 square feet for additional classroom and activity space, and it'll be on the front of the church. And then the last and fourth new application will be Woods at Valentine Section 1 reapproval, and this is just the reapproval of the expired site plan for Section 1. James will present to you tonight a sketch plan that involves all 4 sections for subdivision, but this is just, this on your next agenda is just the reapproval for the Section 1 site plan. Any questions on any of that? All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Keith. First item on the agenda this evening is 7275 State Route 96, building facade on the former Bayless retail space. Applicants requesting approval to paint the exterior of a portion of the building and to add an additional tenant entrance. Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good.
My name is Mike Parker. Property.
You're
The owner
the owner, okay.
of the, well, it's a very kind of a odd building with the ownership of it, so
Just a
just purchased.
brief
the
outline for the
portions.
public's sake on,
Yep, so the Hadlocks portion is owned by them. We purchased the corner, the front corner, it's kind of like almost like a condo type complex, and the parking lot is the third. So we own that corner, about 17,000 square foot of that corner.
and are you subdividing that piece?
There'll be 3
section?
tenants within it.
And-
There's existing, there was 2 currently.
Right.
And we're subdividing the inside as well.
If you could describe what's going on or how much is being subdivided within that space?
It's kind of in thirds. I guess it's pretty even, maybe a little bit bigger on the front, storefront side. And then there's a warehouse in the middle, and then there's the FLX dog training park is in that this side.
And that's on the back side, as I understand it?
Yeah, it's kind of on the 250 side, or
Yeah.
251 side there.
Okay. And the other thing I understand is there's already an entrance for the dog.
Yeah,
training
it's just kind of a
facility.
side man door there on
Yeah.
the end, and we wanted to put like a formal entrance for that business. Yep.
Okay. There's an unusual property definition for your piece, meaning that the building, the face of the building is the property line. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you don't have the sidewalks on your property.
Correct.
You don't have parking on your property, technically speaking. And if you can describe for the board and the public how parking is worked out amongst the different tenants, both in your section of your building and Hadlocks.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, all of that parking is common technically. I mean, we all use all of it. The owner of the parking lot, I believe, also owns Hadlocks as well.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you?
Oh, I'm sorry. The owner of the building, or the owner of the Hadlocks also owns the parking lot piece. So we just own that one section of the building. It's like I said, it's kind of like 3 different parcels within the one. So it's sort of an odd piece of land, or an odd piece of, building.
Yeah. So do you have a written or formal arrangement or agreement for use of that common
Yes.
parking
Yep,
area?
I submitted that with the
Yeah.
application.
Okay.
Approval from them. They're very, very agreeable to all the stuff that we're planning to do, and are happy about the improvements as well.
Okay. I've been asking all the questions, I guess, just to kind of get everything defined out here, but anyone from the board have comments, questions? Joe, we'll start with you.
Correct. Yep. Thank you. So each tenant will have their own signage. They'll have to put in their own sign permits and variance, all the permits that they'll need to do. So the original side for our portion of this, it's going to be just like that. We're going to set it up for them to have the facade to put their signage on, and they'll have to get it approved through your meetings. Yep.
Oh, is your mic on, Joe?
It is now.
I couldn't
I
hear, I
heard
don't
you,
know if
Joe.
anybody else could, but,
Figured if I can't hear you, you shouldn't. be able to.
but,
So the question from the zoning folks is whether we want to do a variance for the lighting, I believe. Is that something we want to talk about now, too?
yeah, sure, everything's on the table. You
I'm
want
not-
to,
I'm not sure what the issue is, or if we're interested. I'm not concerned about issuing a variance, but I'm not sure.
yeah,
Okay. So I'm not sure if it's something that we should have opinion one way or the other about. It doesn't seem like it's a major issue to me at this point.
well, where's the lighting issue that requires the variance, I guess?
Code officer, they didn't supply a lighting plan, but he did say that the planning board can waive that requirement
For the lighting
for
plan?
the lighting.
Okay,
I don't know what,
Yeah, so we have a lighting plan in the drawings for the build out, as part of, the actual building permit set that we have. The building set, or the building permit is, it's underway. We've started some of the inside stuff. The outside stuff is obviously pending the planning board approval. And so that the side facade, the new entry facade has lighting in it. And I don't know whether you guys have driven by that building. It's pretty well lit at night, along the down lighting along the facade as well. So it'll just add, the can lights will kind of be in the same spot. They'll just be at the entryway.
So the code fellows are just looking for actual documentation on the plans that this exists.
to include it in the plans, yeah. Anything else, Joe?
Oh, that's it.
Al?
No questions, just a comment that it's good to see the building get, repurposed, reused, and again, I agree with
Cleaned
you.
up.
I think the facade looks,
Yeah.
looks appealing.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, Tricia?
I agree, the facade just looks great. I think it's going to be a great addition. Driving by, it's pretty close. I come through there all the time, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Awesome, thank you.
Scott?
We are excited.
I had a couple of questions. So the building lighting is contained within the soffit? Is that what
Yes.
you're saying? So it's not even visible?
No, it's all can lights up in the
And it's all
soffit, yep.
focused downward?
Yep. I mean, depending on what the people decide for signage, that'll be approved by you guys as well, but,
Okay.
there could be some light in the signs probably, but
But no pole-mounted lighting out there?
nope.
The other question I had related to the survey, because I did the survey some time ago, on the map that was presented, and I think you have 2 lots. Is that correct? There are 2 lots on the property?
There's 2 within the building. Ours is 1, and then, so we're 7275, and then Hadlock's is 7273.
It's
Third line.
confusing.
And the third lot is the parking lot.
And it's confusing, Scott, but we had to go back and forth with the assessor on it. If you look at it on Encore, it looks like it's 3 lots. It's not. It's their lot, and then the parking lot and the rest of the building are the same lot. They're separated for tax purposes. It has to do with the lease between Hadlocks and the owner. But like he said earlier, the same person owns the whole parking lot and the Hadlocks part of the building.
Okay.
And that is the same lot.
Okay,
And
that's
then
the way,
their lot is separate.
that's the way the survey shows it, I believe. So because I remember when we did the survey, and I only remember 2 lots. I don't remember 3 lots. But as long as it's okay with you folks, that's fine with me. I thought maybe we were gaining a lot here that I didn't know about. I don't have any more questions.
Okay, I'll echo the board's comments on the fact that you will be bringing in new tenants, and it'll be good occupied space, and it looks good, what you've proposed. I want to open it up to the public before we conclude this discussion, so if there's anyone that may have questions for the applicant or comments on the project, step up or... Seeing none, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move.
But
Scott moves.
Second?
Tricia, just second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the public hearing is closed. There was a comment that we had in a staff meeting that I understand that if the facade, if it bumps out away from the face of the building, it's now not on your parcel.
It overhangs slightly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there a
It's
need?
close. if
Is
you
there a
look.
need for an agreement or some variance for that? I guess, I don't know, was it, if you're familiar with that?
Yeah, I remember that we did talk about that during a staff meeting. And I see that the existing facade, if I'm looking at the street view on Google Street View, I see that the existing facade where the sign would be installed, it looks like there is a projection that comes
It
out
comes out
over
a
the
little bit,
sidewalk
yeah.
a bit now.
But it's the same as the front, like the corner one.
The old Bayless.
Yeah, so it would be the
Corner.
same, and the same distance out into that, for the, that's already there.
So any new work that's going on with the facade isn't going to project any further
Correct.
out away from
Nope,
where it is
it's,
today?
it's very similar, like, very similar to that bump out, just like that. Because that one actually, like, we just kind of are wrapping it with the new materials and then building like a mirror image in a smaller version
So,
on the side.
so this man door, is that for the dog?
That's what she's
here?
currently using, yes.
Okay, and
We're gonna leave
continue-
that. Yep,
gonna leave it?
that'll be, nope, so that'll be like her secondary means of exit, and then the main door will be where that first tree is, yep,
Right here,
yep.
okay. And that will look a lot like this one,
Correct.
well, with the new architecture, of course.
Yep.
So it will,
Smaller, it's like a mini version. It's only
Okay.
just a 2-door
yeah,
entryway.
all right. I have nothing else. Unless anyone else has any other comments. I think we do have a draft resolution. Public hearing's closed. So I'll read
Thank you.
that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. So for 7275 State Route 96 facade, whereas the planning board made the following findings of fact, site plan application was received December 5th, 2025 from Michael Parker of 7275 State Route 96 LLC, being the applicant, by the Secretary of the Planning Board, and a site plan entitled 7275 State Route 96 facade project. There are 5 more whereases. And whereas the Town of Victor Planning Board reviewed the unlisted action on January 13th, 2026, and identified no significant impacts, now therefore be it resolved that the project 7275 State Route 96 facade will not have a significant impact on the environment, and that a negative declaration be prepared. Now therefore be it resolved that the application of Michael Parker of 7275 State Route 96 LLC, site plan entitled 7275 State Route 96 facade drawn by Professional Engineering Group, dated December 2021, received by the Planning Board December 5th, 2025. Planning Board application 37 SP 2025 be approved with the following conditions. Conditions to be addressed prior to chairman's signature on the site plan. Number 1 is standard. 2, that the comments from the code enforcement officer dated January 13th, 2026 be addressed. Number 3, that any exterior lighting be compliant with Chapter 131 lighting of the Town of Victor Town Code and be approved by the code enforcement officer. Ongoing conditions, both of those are standard conditions, and be it therefore further resolved that the planning board secretary distribute the planning board's approval letter. So, unmodified resolution, do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll move.
Al moves.
Second.
Joe seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, carried 5-0. So, you all set? Thank you. Okay, the next one is AT&T Singular Wireless, 701 High Street. It is up by the water tower near the senior facility. Applicants requesting approval to modify its equipment on the 140-foot lattice tower. Keith
Maynard, project manager for the Town of Victor again. So the applicant is a few hours away, and with weather coming in, she asked us today if it's a pretty simple application, if I could read a blurb she sent, so that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So, as the chairman just stated, it's AT&T. It's for a special use permit, 701 High Street. This is the cell tower that stands right next to the water tower. The scope of the work includes replacing the 9 existing antennas, 6 radios, and with 9 new antennas and 6 new radios, removing 3 tower-mounted amplifiers that will not be replaced, and installing 1 surge arrestor with 1 new DC line. These changes will not increase the tower height. The new antennas and equipment will be installed on the previously approved antenna center line. As far as groundwork, there is none proposed. So the dimension of the ground space will not change. And then per code for the special use permit in your packets should be the tower inspection report dated August 5th, 2024. So they're just replacing some equipment on an existing cell tower right next to the water tower on High Street.
So effectively, just for the board's sake, they won't see a difference when they're done.
Correct. That is
No.
our understanding.
There's
And-
nothing higher, nothing requiring additional lighting or any other equipment. It's,
Right. And they will also have to get a building permit like any other
yeah,
cell changes like this.
okay.
So if you have any questions, I probably can't answer them.
Well, we can chat about it anyway. Tricia, any comments for you?
I guess my question, and you said you probably can't answer it, but will the radio frequency emissions remain below what the FCC maximum permissible exposure would be with these updates and these changes? Because,
Is that in the packet?
The applicant, I think, is going to try to watch on YouTube, so if we give
Oh,
her a
okay, so
minute,
hopefully we can get you an
might
answer.
be able to answer
Yeah.
that, if we give her a moment.
right, and then my other question would be, is there any, going to be any radio frequency compliance studies done after the updating of the equipment, just to monitor, just because it's right next to senior housing, it's down the street from the schools, there's a neighborhood. Updating of the
Sorry.
equipment, just to monitor, just because it's right next to
Lisa's got her phone
That's
waiting
why
for
I'm
it.
on.
vaping. So my question is just, is that, because that's just something I would just want to make sure with the updating of equipment, is that going to pose any more serious, risks? Because it is, immersed, next to all these facilities, that I think it's something that should be monitored. And, to do some sort of study during the peak operating conditions, just to make sure that there is no impact to the community.
Yeah, we'll have to see if she answers that question.
So she said, yes, the emissions will be within FCC guidelines.
So part two question is, will there be an RF compliance study done to ensure that once those changes are put into effect during peak operating time, to make sure that that is not impacting the area?
We have like a 20-second delay for YouTube, so I'll give her a
Okay.
minute.
Yeah. Anything else, Trish?
No, that's just because it's literally right next to a senior center. It's right down the street from a school. And I just want to make sure there's not going to be any kind of impact. And that's just something I think we should be
As-
thoughtful of.
Yeah, as I understand it, they're replacing equipment. Intuitively, for me at least, I wouldn't have seen that as any more invasive or intrusive in terms of radio frequencies than what's already there. But I'll let her answer that.
No,
She does say we can request a post-install study.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
so we just put that in the
All right, if we can
resolution.
put that in the ongoing conditions, or that request is going to be honored and followed up. And I don't know how much time you want to give them, but perhaps once the installation has been accepted as complete, perhaps we monitor 2 months later or something to that effect. I don't know.
That's not something we typically, I don't know
Yeah.
what they do on their end and what the government regulates that they do, but like on our end, like there's the, well, the final electrical certificate with the building permit. We don't require any testing after the fact.
Better speak up a little bit
general.
more.
Huh?
You better speak up a little more in the mic.
Just saying that we don't require any testing like that in general with any of the cell stuff. Like with the building permit, like anything else that involves electricity, we would involve the third-party electrical inspection, but I don't think there's any other testing that we,
Yeah, they're required to submit annual report, all cell companies.
Right.
Okay? Scott, questions?
I don't have anything.
Al?
All set.
Okay, Joe? All right. Any comments from Lavelle West, or is this pretty? Yeah, okay. It is a public hearing. I'll see if there's anyone in the audience.
thank you.
Public, thank you, Keith, I appreciate it. So hearing none, or seeing none, no one approach, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move.
Al moves,
I'll second.
Scott seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried, and public hearing is closed. So, we have a draft resolution that I will add,
No vote on that?
I'm sorry?
I'm
No,
asking,
no,
I'm asking if Trish, you vote on that?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
I'm a yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry. Okay, so, resolution, AT&T Singular Wireless, 701 High Street. Whereas Planning Board made the following findings of fact, and there are 9 of them. Now therefore be resolved, the application of Martha Grady, agent for AT&T, 750 West Center Street, Suite 301, West Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Site plan entitled AT&T located 701 High Street, drawn by Azimuth Engineering PC, dated October 9, 2025. Received by the Planning Board Secretary, December 8, 2025. Planning Board Special Use Application Number 10SU 2025B approved with the following conditions. Number 1 is standard. Number 2, that post-install a study shall be submitted.
I think Wes has a little more.
What, do you have something more you want to put on
Yeah,
there,
let me
Wes?
see. That the applicant conduct a post-installation radio frequency study to identify the levels of radio frequency radiation emitted by the updated equipment, and a copy of said study be provided to the Town of Victor Planning and Building Office.
Okay, can we also put in there comparison of pre and post install? See what's it before, what's it after?
Yep. So we'll add that the study identify the comparison between,
Existing conditions
yeah,
and conditions post installation. Within, do you have a time frame in there, Wes? I didn't.
I don't have a time frame in here, but
I'd like to see it done within the first
Within-
quarter or something, maybe 2 or 3 months.
within 3 months of,
Yeah.
project completion,
Yeah,
of install, within 3 months of installation.
yeah, and I guess bringing it online, right? So you couldn't do it otherwise. So I assume you can only bring it online once the C of, is there like a C of O or some sort of,
Yeah, I think there may be a completion certificate that maybe they might get from the building office, or no?
Yes, there'd be a CFC for that, for the building permit itself.
okay, all right, so post CFC within 3 months, do a study and submit it to the planning department. All right? And Wes, you can take a look at that when it comes in and,
Yeah, happy to do that.
okay, great, thank you. So, and that a building permit be obtained before proposed work is begun, and be it further resolved, the planning board secretary distribute the planning board's approval letter. So with that amended resolution, do I hear a motion for approval?
I'll move.
Al moves,
I'll second.
and Tricia seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. Okay. Third item this evening, Thirsty Turtle Site Plan Modification, 7422 State Route 96. Owner is 7422 Pittsford Victor Road, Inc. Applicants requesting approval to install a temporary fence or color change to the temporary storage structure located in the northeast back parking lot. Also proposed is a building lighting color change to coincide with holidays. Good evening.
Good evening. Ted Rund, Thirsty Turtle, 7422 Pittsford Victor Road. First, we'd like to talk about the lights, I guess. We had some permanent lighting put in instead of spending, frankly, thousands of dollars a year during the holiday seasons. And at the time, I didn't realize that I was in violation of them being intermittent. That's kind of how this all started. So wanted to see if we could get permission to change colors for certain holidays, like green for St. Patty's Day or purple for Halloween or something of that nature, and then the rest of the time just leave it white, as shown maybe in some of the photos.
So is it the lighting that covers the patio or anywhere else? around the-
It's under the eave on the front side of the building, and then you can see it on the eaves.
You have a laser if you want to use it.
Oh,
up there,
sure,
too.
yeah, it's, sorry, first timer here, located up here, and then just underneath, that really, I guess, just shines down on the building. But, I mean, that's pretty much it when it comes to the lights.
So lighting's already installed. You have the ability to change and do basically anything you want to do with them.
Sure.
There's some constriction or constraints that are on a business about that. Obviously,
Right.
the intermittent on, red, green, yellow, whatever
Right.
flashing isn't an acceptable thing. It's kind of a driver distraction. So, on the lighting issue, I guess we can have that conversation first. Anybody have any questions for the applicant? Joe?
I'm trying to sort through the comments from the code folks, and there seems to be a lot of varying conditions that can or should be met, and I'm not sure which apply or which we should be considering, frankly. I like the idea of the decorative lighting. St. Patrick's Day, would it be just for the day, or would it be a day prior, during, and after, or how long would the lighting be in, how long would it be green?
Oh, well, I mean, that's a great question, and I can honestly say that we've been there for 25 years operating, and we still seem to find people that have never stopped at the Thirsty Turtle before. So I guess it's my intention, and it was our plan to make our building attractive, to help us survive, a very tough business. The industry is not easy, and it got extremely harder after COVID. And I still seem to find people that will say, oh, your building looks so good. When did you paint it? And we did that 3 years ago. So I think the tough thing is that, and I myself drive to work 3 or 4 times a day. So you drive by something so many times, you just kind of forget that it's there at times. So I would just maybe ask you guys what you think is appropriate. I mean, obviously, if maybe St. Patty's Day was on a Sunday, we were allowed to do it for the weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to be festive. That would be great, but certainly not going to, I guess I'm just going to lead with what you guys recommend.
How many colors does your system provide for? Could you do red, white, and blue for 4th of July? Can you do-
Well, we're most of us are avid Bills fans, so we were very excited to be advertising this, I guess, but didn't realize that we were in violation. So once codes let us know, I stopped that right away. But yeah, we can do red, white, and blue. Since being spoken to by the codes, I've just left it white because I'm not trying to make anyone mad at me.
Because the idea is pretty good, but conceivably, I can come up with probably 20 at least different things I would want to celebrate with lights, and what's appropriate and what length of time is appropriate. And I'm not sure if I got an answer. I like the idea, but I think there's details to be fleshed out.
I know that Christmas time, I think there's like a 1-month window that businesses have to put up decoration, lighting for decorations, building lighting or yard lighting or whatever for commercial purposes, to celebrate I'll call it the seasonal holiday time, probably Thanksgiving to New Year's. But I don't know Halloween is one night, St. Patty's Day is a day,
Then we
Yeah.
got Valentine's Day, and we've got Easter, and we've got 4th of July, and we've got Memorial Day. We could do Kwanzaa. We could do. I mean, we could
Well-
we could go nuts.
You could. I honestly don't have a problem if it's a couple of days, I mean, it sounds like you're
That
going to
seems reasonable to me,
Yeah.
and the thought of over the weekend, for instance,
Yeah.
I think that makes sense to me.
I guess if it was a few days leading up to whatever it was, whether it was a Friday, Monday, or Saturday, or whatever.
Sure.
3 days.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm headed.
Uh-huh.
I like the idea of just a lead up to the day.
Sure. I mean, it seems kind of arbitrary, and it's not, as long as it's not flashing in a
Oh,
public
totally.
distraction,
Yeah.
which is the problem with the flashing lights, then I don't see why you couldn't do that. It's not like you're putting searchlights in the sky and all that kind of
Right.
stuff that you might see it in Vegas or something.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Maybe if we say, other than Christmas time or the holiday season, it's a 3-day centered around or leading up to a particular event.
Okay. Sure.
If you want to, you can define the number of events you have, but I don't think that's a problem if you have to add one from time to time. Even every Sunday for a Bills game, it's that evening.
I appreciate it. I mean, I'm just trying to do my best to be a good business
Sure, no,
owner in
we
this
appreciate
community.
it and understand your position. So I think as far as the lighting goes, I don't think you see an objection from the board for a few nights.
Okay. Great.
As long as you're not all night, overnight,
Yep.
I think it's more important it ties to the hours of
Yes,
operation.
right, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so on that note, we used to stay open till 1 o'clock all the time, and judging, looking at the financials and just kind of how society has changed a little bit, we close at 11 o'clock, Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock on Sundays, because it just didn't make sense to run the labor and the pay and the energy and et cetera, et cetera. I guess one thing that I'd like to add is that there was an incident. There was a police incident where someone got hurt at the hotel not too far from us, I believe, behind Chili's. I think someone was robbed, and so I really like it for my staff to be able to. It does give us a little more light around the building, and we have cameras, and the police have done great. Whenever we've had an issue, they've been right there. But I would like to be. I mean, I can set it on a timer, but I would love to make sure that it's at least on, until my staff has exited the building, just
and
for a
it's-
little extra.
Are the white lights on all night?
Oh well, right now they're on a timer with the timer of the parking lot lights. We've always kept them on until the light comes on. We got burglarized probably 20 years ago now. They were sitting on top of the back side of that road, and they waited till we left, and then they came down. So, my father and I have always, just wanted the lights on so that, if someone leaves their car there too overnight, we want to make sure that no one is damaging any property that, that someone might have made the right decision and left their car there. So, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I certainly, they wouldn't be on all the time. But, just while the parking lot lights were on, I guess.
I would say we certainly have, give you leeway for security lighting, we'll call it, after hours.
Sure.
So, I don't know, what do you think? Are you in, like an hour later than when you close, or 2
Yeah,
hours, or just,
I mean,
lots to do?
Yeah, I mean,
Business.
I can turn those off. I have the app on my phone.
Yeah.
I can turn it off from wherever I am. I can set a timer for it, and if it's, I guess I wouldn't mind leaving them on just because I think the building looks really good with the parking lot lights on. But if it's an issue, I have no problem shutting it off like an hour after we close. Whatever you guys recommend.
Yeah, that's it. The last person out close, turns the lights off except for whatever security lighting you feel you need.
Okay.
Whether it's right along the building, or in a spot of the parking area. I don't know how much control you have
Sure.
over all those other lights, but,
Is 3 days enough for some of the holidays, like for St. Patrick's Day? I know sometimes some restaurants are serving all week long.
Yeah.
They're kind of celebrating. I
Yeah,
mean, is
sure.
there certain weeks that you feel like 3 days may be limiting? Do you have like menu items that are tying in with that holiday and you're trying to keep the spirit up?
I guess we didn't really have a plan until we got notified that we were doing something wrong. So then I started thinking about it, and honestly, in the 20 plus years that we've been there, we've been a huge supporter of many of the sports teams at the school. And so one thing I guess now that I think about it, we've done like blue and yellow for the football games for the football team, and just try to be, festive within the town. So, I mean, I would love a week if that's okay. I mean, I can promise you I won't make it look ugly or whatever, and I won't abuse the power. I would love a week, but certain things, Valentine's Day is kind of like a one-time shot type thing, or
Right.
Halloween, we did purple.
Sure.
That's kind of a one-time thing. I guess I didn't think about it to get any more than a couple days, but I appreciate whatever.
So how about, Joe, maybe for the decorative lighting to support a holiday not to exceed 1 week?
okay,
Yeah.
Do 1 day,
If-
not to
Yeah.
exceed.
That gives you the
That'd be great.
flexibility
Sure.
sure.
for,
I
right.
appreciate
Yeah.
it very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think the board objects to what you're trying to do, and, I hate to put arbitrary restrictions on
Sure.
your business, when you're keeping up the spirit and doing other things that
Very much appreciative.
And I love the way that you're celebrating our schools, sports teams, and I think that's important as
Absolutely.
well, keeping the spirit up in the community.
Absolutely. Boys basketball team, that's
That's
right. Good call, Dave. Okay,
What color are those, Dave? Okay.
so, should I talk about the next thing? Or
Yeah,
do
let's
we have
move
to
on.
vote
We've
Okay.
hit lighting pretty
So
well.
the next thing was, the storage units that we have in the corner of the property, which I should fully disclose, they became more visible when we decided to rip all the Phragmite that was overtaking my property and my neighbor's property. Excited to get that under control, because that's, I don't know if you ever saw the money pit, but that is our money pit. Didn't realize, I guess, at the time, because we thought that they were temporary, that we wouldn't need a permit to do this. And when we had put them in during COVID, that was as you guys can remember, that was kind of a wild time. So it was, something that we had laid crusher stone to keep those flat. And inside those containers are really just equipment, extra storage for patio furniture, which obviously we had a lot more than what we had originally had. Also, seasonal stuff like salt. Rather than buying a couple bags, it's cheaper to buy a pallet. And sometimes if I don't get through the pallet, we carry it over to the next year. Unfortunately, our driveway is pitched just enough where, thankfully, my father is our plow guy, because sometimes he's up there 4 or 5 times a day, because we don't want someone to, slide out onto 96. So it's a little bit of a challenge for us at times. But most of it is just equipment that we just don't have room inside of our building when we expanded our business.
Or these are rental units, right?
We bought them.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
So
we bought them.
my question is it permanent? Because it sounds like you need them.
Well, yeah, I
In
mean,
this-
that's the tough thing, because, I guess, and with all due respect, I mean, I didn't know, what made them different than, the e-waste with all the tractor trailers on their property. Like, if I just put wheels on these, then they're mobile. And, I don't know, I guess this whole thing started, I mean, I'm here because I had these lights flickering. And then codes came up, and they started dinging us for all these things that I didn't realize that we were in violation of. So I took the sign out of my window, which was one of the things. I put in an application for these lights. And when it comes to these containers, as you can see in the one photo down from the road, we could go to that photo. They're hard to see, and from the road picture, maybe when it gets there, you'll see when we took out all the Phragmite over here, we thought about building this berm up just a little bit higher. We were concerned about the depth of this pond, but when we cleaned it up and we got a clear day and the dust settled, we realized that it's only about 1.5 feet deep, so it's very, very shallow, which is good. The plan is to do some kind of overflow. I forget the name of the rock, but I've talked to the landscapers of getting the water to be able to go to the storm drain, which is located somewhere down here, to keep that water at bay, so that this aggressive Phragmite doesn't keep growing up. And it really, unfortunately, for Sue, when she bought the property, John, our neighbor to the right of us, he wasn't doing well health-wise, and he just couldn't keep up with the property. And, we could only do so much. So it just kept growing and growing, and it's such an aggressive species that we have to get onto, this spray program to keep it at bay. And then once we're complete the spray program, we should be good. We're going to plant grass this will be all grass. And I thought we found some boulders within the mess that was found. So we kind of thought of decorating it with the boulders, just obviously to make sure cars knew not to drive there. But my thought was that if I, depending on what you guys recommend, I mean, obviously, I don't want to have to spend money on a fence if I don't have to, because that's a lot of money that's not really going to return any investment for us. I'd be happy to paint them. I was thinking maybe black to match the pillars of the building. But I also didn't know if there was an option to build this berm up a little bit more so that you wouldn't see it at all. But I really just didn't know kind of how you guys felt about the situation. So kind of wanted to put this site plan in and just come and talk to you guys and see what you guys recommend.
Okay. Scott, questions?
I don't have a question. I think I have a comment, which is I think those aren't temporary any longer. They're permanent, right?
Yeah, I mean, for now, yeah.
It's pretty much like an accessory structure.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of have to look at it that way.
So do you have any comment about the color or because right now you have dumpsters as well that are not in an enclosure of any sort, which normally we would require that, which would be pretty much like a fence or something that would be more architecturally fitting with the building or the appearance there. And that's pretty wide open, not from the road, but on site. How do you access those? I mean, the trucks just drive right up and
Yeah, so I guess if maybe we could go to that first layout of the overall layout of the whole property. So when we've had these in the past, we had them located here. But unfortunately, we were a popular restaurant on Fish Fry Fridays, and the fish doesn't smell very good on a July night on the patio. So we were forced to move those dumpsters over to this way, over here. So usually when the trucks come in, they come right through here. They're there at 6 in the morning. They pick up here, back up, and they're right out. It's kind of out of everybody's way. I totally appreciate and respect everything you guys do, and I didn't know how this was going to go when it came to the dumpsters, and obviously my neighbors have dumpsters that are exposed. I mean, one particular is Pace Window. The Pace Windows has that dumpster roll off that's very visible to the road, and so I just asked politely that you be fair. I mean, I would put a fence. But if I had to, I guess, I would also maybe consider moving them back over here behind where they can't be visible. I've driven around the town a lot prior to this meeting because I just wanted to do my research and see what other people had around here. And I know that there's a lot of dumpsters that are visible from the road, so I don't know where the line is drawn and how that works. But
And can they be put on the, I don't know, was that north side of those, on the other side, the opposite side?
No, unfortunately, we've really maximized the ability of this property. We, during COVID, and to get approval from the town when we did the patio, we ended up putting in I think it's like an 8 or 10 foot, 120 foot retaining wall back here because all the land was actually pushing the containers towards the building. So we spent a ton of money and we created 9 permanent spots on the back side of this property for the employees because we had lost approximately 10 or 11, don't quote me on that, but we had lost 10 or 11, 12 over here because it was a double lane when we had put the patio in. So we really can't dig into that hill any more than what we have.
I guess my thought was you have 2 dumpsters here, not dumpsters, containers.
Yeah.
And could you slide one container down and put the dumpsters in between them, or slide both of them down and put the dumpsters on the other side?
You know what, maybe it's something that we could look at for sure. I think access for these trucks to get to them would probably be the most important thing that we'd have to.
Sure, I mean, if can they come in, since there's nobody going to be there when they come in to pick up trash from the dumpsters, correct?
Right.
Early in the morning or whatever.
Yeah.
So that they could come in here and pick up stuff here if these 2 were slid down another 10 feet or whatever.
Yeah. I guess my only concern is that, and I wish this was a problem that I had more often, but, parking is thankfully a lot of people take Uber, and the Uber and Lyft and all that has changed us so much now. But when we do have events like, for instance, the Turtle Races, which is a very popular event that we have for charity, we need almost every spot that we can get. So I guess what I'd be willing to sacrifice is I'd be willing to put a fence around the dumpsters, because that would block a portion of the container anyways. But I really don't want to have to move those containers because I just don't want to lose parking spots. And I know probably the town doesn't want me to either.
Well, Susie, if you can go to the next couple of pictures, not the next ones, perhaps. So here, thanks, Sue. If the dumpsters are here, are there people actually parking behind that?
No, so you can see where this car is right here.
Yeah.
That's really the last spot.
Right. So if this dumpster slid over, or not dumpster, container, slid over into that spot, and you put the dumpsters either in between, or you slid both of them over and put the dumpsters here, you're not taking away any parking spaces, and you're still using the pavement that you've got up to that point. And you've hidden the dumpsters and maybe blocked smell from another
Sure.
part of the building.
Sure.
If you would look at that, I guess that's my
Okay.
thing. Rather
I-
than spend money on fencing and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
no, I appreciate
If you
that.
could slide it over, and if you want to darken up paint on the containers, for instance, that might be another way to make them blend in.
Okay,
If you make them black, they're just going to get really hot, so I don't know if that's a good idea.
right.
But I'm throwing things out. I'd be interested in hearing the board's
Okay.
comments as well. So, Joe, questions?
I think that's a possibility. Instead of painting it black, get the kids from school to put a mural up on the
Yeah, you can do that
storage
too.
units. So,
Someone did recommend that to me. I wasn't going to bring it up, but I mean, I've thought about doing some kind of mural of the town, or like a kind of a cool map. I know we've been a part of some charity apparel, and have been happy to help donate to raise money for, I believe it was Tyler Strong at the time, but there's definitely some ideas that I have to make them look a little more attractive.
Tasteful, changeable murals. I mean, you could have the football team up there, whatever,
Sure.
you know. So that's not a bad
the
idea.
only issue I've got with your suggestion is I don't know if you can move the storage units far enough apart to get the two dumpsters side by side.
Well, I
in
was just thinking, if my thought really is move them both over and put the dumpsters on the back side, right in here. So that thing's 8 feet wide, probably. I don't know how wide these dumpsters are. Maybe that's a problem, but
That's,
Wes is showing the actual street view of the two dumpsters.
so the fellow that comes in to empty the dumpsters then is going to have to back all the way in there to get access to the,
He would just drive in and back up and get it, or he drives straight in and picks it up over the top. I don't know.
it's worth looking at for sure.
Yeah, explore it.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Regarding visibility, I guess. I don't know. Al, questions?
Well, so certainly, I certainly want to see the business be successful.
Yeah.
No issue about that. And, money is money, but if this was a new site plan approval, we would more than likely require some type of shielding, enclosure,
Yeah.
landscaping, and so I just want to make sure that we're consistent from that perspective, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pre-existing condition in a way.
Well,
not-
it's only pre-existing because
Understood?
we didn't know
Yeah.
they were there, and they were hidden with other landscaping, I guess, or.
Well, I don't know if there were ever dumpsters in the original building plan or something.
Not
like
just the
that.
dumpsters, but the temporary storage
Oh,
containers.
the storage containers are another issue, but I mean, it's like a shed. It's not 1,000 square feet, I don't think, between the two of them.
No, I mean, I don't know what the square footage is. I think they're 40 feet each, maybe
Yeah.
8 feet.
So 8 by 40, it's 3 to 720 square feet, so it's less than 1,000 between the two of them.
But again, I just
Yeah.
would challenge ourselves if another restaurant was moving in and they said, hey, we're gonna put some containers out there.
Yeah.
They probably would say, well, you're gonna need to do something to remedy that, so.
I guess I do have one question about that, and I totally understand what you're saying, and I'm not looking for any special treatment. When you drive on 96 and you turn into the mall, right behind the Target is the same container that I have with a sign on it that says "Rent Me." Like I said, I've been here for 20 plus years. That thing has have to have been there for a decade. How is that different? Because that's way more visible than what we have, and there's a sign on it that says "Rent Me" right on it, right behind Target. I mean, so I guess I don't, and I'm willing to do whatever you guys want me to do. But I just, will other places have to do that because I'm having to do it?
We typically address them as they come up. I don't think we're proactive about running around the town saying you don't have a conclusion, whatever.
Right.
I think it's
No.
a fair, just to, I'd
yeah.
like to chime in just a little bit. I can certainly appreciate your observations, right? Especially with what you just cited in terms of what you're seeing in other parts of the town. And this board right now, obviously, we're looking at your application, so I don't think we're prepared to be able to say, oh, well, the town's going to go enforce this
Sure.
elsewhere. really,
Absolutely.
right? So we just want to deal with this particular application that we have in front of us. And so I guess I probably wouldn't speculate on how the town's going to address other situations that you're observing. I would probably, if I were a concerned resident and I had these observations, I might go to the planning and building offices and say, hey, what you called this out on my property. How is this being dealt with elsewhere?
Sure.
I guess I'm kind of, if you can't make it work where it might fit on the other side of it, if you can rearrange what you have out there suitably for your operations, then I would suggest that a fence around it might be the most consistent with what else is being done on new applications before the town. That way, they can be somewhat separated or segregated from parking and visible flavor of the community, I guess. I don't think a berm in the front of the building would count as a dumpster enclosure unless it was right around there, so I think you're kind of forced to address it where you want to actually put the dumpsters, if you're leaving them there, or if you can move them. So I would say they're a good block view of the view shed if the dumpsters are on the other side.
Okay.
Just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah, no, I understand. So I guess for clarification, or just an additional question,
Yeah.
if I were to do a fence that came out from right here and went in front of them and then closed off here, so that
Yeah.
basically almost 50% of that container would be covered. Additionally, with the berm and the new landscaping that will hopefully, obviously, hide it a little bit better, would that be adequate, or do I have to have a fence and then another fence around them?
No, you can go two sides right up against the container. The container's a wall itself, right? Maybe they're 6 feet high, 8 feet high, something like that. No, the dumpsters, sorry, Joe. If the dumpsters are 8 feet high, just match it, or 6 feet high, or whatever
Right.
it is.
Pretty standard to what's around
Right.
town with new build. Yeah, okay.
And if you have fencing on the other part of the property you could complement or whatever, maybe not the temporary orange barriers that you have, but actual fencing. I don't see any, but Wes is going through Google Street View.
Yeah, yep, no worries.
Mhm.
I guess a comment on the orange fencing. We're doing our best to try and figure out what the right thing to do is. We've had people sideswipe rocks, take out fences. We can't seem to find the right piece that will keep them safe and off the property.
Yeah.
So we're using them for now, and then gonna look at see what the best option is for that.
My comment was so you just don't add to it. is
I
my
got you.
point.
Understand.
That's all right. I understand what you're doing. Certainly don't want people bumping into everybody's cars or across the grass or whatever else is going on over there. So, anybody else, Tricia?
I would just maybe consider, if you're going to put a fence enclosure around it, just to move it over a little bit to the left, because I would worry about opening of the fence hitting into cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, because you're going to need to have a wide enough gate.
Right.
So that when they come to remove the garbage, they can easily lift and remove the garbage. So you can't obviously just have like a small little gate. It would have to be a big door.
Right.
And so I would just be cognizant of that with cars being so close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the plus side, there won't be any cars there when they come pick up empty the dumpsters at 6 in the morning or 8 in the morning.
Is that they come that early?
They do. And you know what we could do is we do seal the lot every year. So maybe what I could do, there isn't I won't call it an auxiliary spot, but like in years past, we've either kept our plow truck there or the plow there or other stuff there. We could do kind of this striped line here, do it there so that we never have to worry about anyone parking there. Traditionally, anyone parking over here is either not trained to be found by their spouse or one of our employees. So that it just seems to be an area that people are hiding over there. And I'm probably not helping them that I took the Phragmite away, but like that's our staff usually parks over on this side because we do have more than 9 people behind the building at times. But I will do, the next time we seal, which is every year, we could do something like that to protect that.
Okay. I think the conclusion on this discussion is some fencing with gates
Okay.
and that it can abut the containers.
Okay.
And we can move on. What was the last one?
Do we want a drawing or something showing specifically what?
Yeah, I think we
is
should.
Proposed?
Um,
Probably have to pay attention to a fire lane, I would think, too,
mhm.
around there.
Yeah,
That separation needs to be.
understand what Scott was.
Sure, not a problem. I mean, the good news is on that side, maybe if you could go back to the layout of the whole property. There, when we were first looking, when we did this patio, we were looking to see if we could get a row in here because it is so wide. So the good news is that, sorry, this isn't the best drawing, but there is quite a bit of room to get through over here. But we'll definitely make sure that we, when we submit that's,
Okay.
Thought of.
All right. So I guess, we'll want to see what you intend to do there, what materials you're going to propose.
Absolutely.
Fencing and gates and stuff like that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I can definitely move you to the end of January, or if you need more time, February, whenever you get the plan in.
Yeah, so I guess with that being proposed, so let's say I work with a couple different companies, I get the quotes. Obviously, with the ground being frozen, is there can I have time to put this in April when it warms up,
Yeah.
or
I don't see why not.
May or
Yeah.
whatever
No,
it
you're
is?
definitely made a good faith effort to
Okay.
come and address all this.
That will help the
so.
plow situation
Yeah, I'm
too
sure
a
it
little
will.
bit.
So yeah, that's whatever works in your timing. I think it's a reasonable request to
Okay.
be put on and get the work done in the spring
Okay.
when the ground is more manageable.
Great.
Was there anything else on your? I thought there were 3 things.
The containers, the lighting,
Okay, it was
and
the-
then he took down the Bud Light sign.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's not a,
20 years that thing's been in the window. R.I.P.
Okay, I don't think we can have a resolution of any sort here. I think we'll see you when you've got the updated plans and
Okay.
other information we need. You might want to think about your schedule of lighting if you want to list it all out.
Sure.
That your ideas and thoughts, we can keep it open and flexible enough. I think that you could add if you needed to in the future without come before the board again, unless it
Okay,
was some
great.
major event, so.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? I'm going to say this is a public hearing, but unless anybody has objection, I don't think we need to keep it open. Okay, so I'm gonna entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Joe moves
I'll
and
second that.
Tricia seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. See you next time.
Thank
Your
you.
choice on when you want to come back, but as long as you got enough time to do it, you certainly got till the spring to get the work done,
Okay.
certainly on the parking area.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Go
thank you.
Bills.
Okay. Go Blue Devils. Okay.
element.
Element
Yep.
is next. Element by Weston, Eastview Mall. Applicants requesting approval to develop a 4-story, 23,580 square foot hotel with 123 rooms on a 91.4 acre parcel. It's located on the west side of the mall property on existing paved parking lot between J.C. Penney and the former Lord and Taylor building. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening. My name is Peter Vars with BME Associates on behalf of the applicant, Eastview Hospitality Group. We're back after our appearance back on November 12th, and at that time, this board tabled the application as it relates to resolution of the issue regarding the reconstruction of Pump Station PS 19. Since that time, we did meet with the town to discuss the reconstruction, and right now, the owner and the applicant are in discussions with the town of Victor at the town board level as it relates to the contribution to the reconstruction. The applicant and owner acknowledged the need to reconstruct PS 19, and as I mentioned, we're just discussing what is the cost sharing. With that, it was our understanding that the town would be prepared to proceed with a seeker determination, that it would be a conditional neg deck based on the fact of the condition being that there'd be resolution on the reconstruction of PS 19 such that then it allow the applicant to proceed with their discussions and agreements with the Marriott Corporation, and then also allow us to come back and wrap up the site plan review. So that's kind of where we are, 2 months since the last time we were here, and I guess I'll just see if the resolution's ready.
Yeah, so what I've prepared tonight is a draft resolution for conditional neg deck resolution. I'm happy to hand this out. And in going through parts 2 and 3 of the long form, right, there was simply one question, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. One question that was raised to a moderate to large impact, where there would potentially be a significant adverse environmental impact, and that was in question number 17, consistency with community plans. Subparagraph E, the proposed action may cause a change in the density of development that is not supported by existing infrastructure or is distant from existing infrastructure. Peter, I'm happy to, why don't I give you a copy of this too, this draft resolution. So, in order to issue a condition neg deck resolution, you've got to have a long form EAF, which the applicant has provided. You've got to do lead agency coordination, which has been completed. Not each of the involved agencies responded, but 30 days has passed. So that expiration date has gone by, where another potentially involved agency had the opportunity to express interest in being lead agency. So none of that has transpired. The agencies that did respond all indicated that they don't have a problem with the planning board being seeker lead agency. And if you want to move forward with this resolution, if you want me to read it, or Joe, feel free to read it yourself. I think it's worthy of going through, though.
Yeah.
Wes, can you clarify that point about the infrastructure? Is that relative to the pump
Oh,
station?
yeah,
or
I'm
is that
sorry.
more-
Yep, that's exactly right. So in reviewing the project, reviewing the engineer's report, and we've taken a look at the calculations and the what do we want to call it? The pump station 19, which is in between the movie theater and the LL Bean retail store. That doesn't have sufficient capacity to handle the peak flows of the hotel, right? So there have been instances, as most recently Black Friday, we've been doing some monitoring of flows in that area. And we noticed on Black Friday that there was the flow was 349, basically 350 gallons per minute. The station was designed, or its optimal capacity is 370 gallons per minute peak flow. But given the age of the pump station and the wear and tear that has occurred over the years on that pump station, that efficiency just isn't there. And you're probably at a maximum capacity right now of 350 gallons per minute. And we reached that on Black Friday this year. So, any additional flows, I think would overwhelm pump station 19. And that's what this resolution is saying, and it articulates a condition that would need to be met in order for that neg deck
So
to.
it's right now being a potential major checkbox on the form.
That's right.
Is just temporary, because the discussions that the applicant and the town are having relative to pump station should address that capacity issue. Is that the case?
Yeah, so yes, so we're looking for the developer to contribute toward the cost of replacing that pump station. And the reason why is because as of last year, when this application was filed, that pump station was not on the town's capital, 5-year capital plan to replace. We knew at some point it needed to be replaced because it is aging, it's nearing it's the end of its life cycle. But there are other priorities in the town's sanitary sewer system that need to be addressed as well. And because they're advancing, the project is advancing the need for the town to replace the pump station, the town is asking for participation in the cost. So that's where the town board and the developer are in negotiations as to what that number might be.
Very good. So I think I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Wes, just to clarify, what facilities does PS 19 serve? Is it the entire mall or a portion of it?
A pretty big chunk of the mall is my understanding of Pump Station 19 serves. Also, there is a private pump station that collects wastewater from the Home Depot area, the
Target and all that?
Yep, the Target area, and that sends its flows
Goes
to
right up to that
Pump
pump
Station
station,
19.
okay,
Yep.
all right.
And Pump Station 19 conveys its flow to Pump Station 18, which is behind the New York Beer Project.
Okay,
And so there's some development in the Eastview Mall area towards Route 96 that does not discharge to Pump Station 19. It gravities towards Pump Station 18, I believe.
so Chick-fil-A will be 18?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Chick-fil-A will not discharge flows to Pump Station 19.
Okay,
Right.
right.
So I've got one more question now. With Bass Pro going in, your study from Black Friday had a vacant Lord and Taylor property. Will the addition of a Bass Pro change the calculations again? It'll worsen things, if anything, right?
It may, but we're swapping so yes, Lord and Taylor is vacant, right? And yeah, there may be some flows from bathrooms in a retail store, but I don't anticipate a whole lot more being discharged into the
Significant.
system. Right,
Thank you.
right.
Okay, well, I can take a stab at it if I,
I'll help if you need.
There you go.
oh, Joe's loves this stuff, good. Joe and Joe team here, all right. So, this is a draft resolution, seeker resolution, Element by Weston Hotel at Eastview Mall. Whereas a site plan application was received on or about December 10th, 2024 by the Secretary of the Town of Victor Planning Board entitled Element by Weston at Eastview, submitted by BME Associates on behalf of EVHDC1 LLC, the applicant for the property located at 100 to 1020 Eastview Mall Drive in the town of Victor, which is called the site. And whereas the applicant is requesting site plan approval to construct the project that consists of a 4-story hotel with 123 rooms over 23,580 square foot footprint on Lot R6 of the Eastview Mall property, tax map 6000121, where said project is more fully described in the applicant's December 10th, 2024 cover letter, site plan drawing set prepared by BME Associates, last revised February 18th, 2025, full environmental assessment form, the FEAF dated November 17th, 2025, and other submissions that are on file with the town of Victor. And whereas the project parcel is located in the town's commercial center zoning district, Route 96 251 overlay corridor overlay district, and Eastview Mall mixed use overlay district. And whereas the town of Victor Planning Board is authorized to undertake site plan review and decide upon site plan applications pursuant to Section 211.9 of the Town of Victor Code. And whereas the State Environmental Quality Review Act, ECL Article 8 and its implementing regulations at 6 NYCRR Part 617, collectively Seeker A, require that no agency shall carry out, fund, or approve an action until it has complied with the requirements of Seeker A. Whereas, in order to aid the planning board in determining whether the project site plan approval, development, construction, and other approvals or activities in connection therewith, the action may have a significant effect on the environment as provided and described in Seeker A, the planning board has caused to be prepared a Full Environmental Assessment Form, FEAF. And whereas the planning board hereby confirms that the project is an unlisted action pursuant to Seeker A and caused town staff to initiate a lead agency coordination process for the unlisted action and notified all potentially involved and interested agencies of the project by transmitting a lead agency coordination package on November 17th, 2025. That included Part 1 of the FEAF, cover letter, and a lead agency sign-off form. And whereas the Ontario County Planning Board, Town of Farmington, Town Board of the Town of Victor responded to the lead agency coordination transmittal on November 20th, 2025, November 21st, 2025, and November 26th, 2025, respectively, each indicating they had no objection to the planning board being lead agency, and whereas no other involved agencies have expressed their intent or desire to be lead agency, and at least 30 calendar days have passed since the planning board staff transmitted the lead agency coordination package to all potentially involved and interested agencies, and whereas the project anticipates generating 14,390 gallons of wastewater per day as identified in the applicant's engineering report in Part 1 EAF, sanitary flows would be conveyed by an 8-inch gravity main to an existing privately owned pump station located on Lot 2 at the northwest corridor of the intersection of Eastview Mall Drive and Commons Boulevard. The privately owned pump station would then pump wastewater to the town's Pump Station 19, PS 19, located at the northeast corner of Tax Map 600112500 in the area between existing movie theater and LL Bean retail store. From PS 19, wastewater is then conveyed through a series of pump stations, gravity mains, and force mains to the Town of Farmington wastewater treatment plant located within the Town of Victor on McMahon Road. And whereas the portion of the Town of Victor sanitary sewer system that would serve the project is operated and maintained by the Town of Farmington pursuant to an intermunicipal agreement first entered into on February 12, 1997, containing several amendments, and now has an expiration date of December 31st, 2045. And whereas the Town of Farmington Code Enforcement Officer issued an email on December 23rd, 2024, indicating in part that upgrades to the pump station would need to be done. And whereas the town engineer, Lobella Associates, has asserted in their January 14th, 2025 comment letter and June 26, 2025 comment letter that the project would cause a need for replacement of PS 19 as projected wastewater flows from the project would exceed the capacity of PS 19. The existing pump station, PS 19, is rated to accommodate up to 370 gallons per minute at peak flow. However, efficiency of pumping capacity has degraded due to age and operational wear and tear, as Wes just pointed out. The town engineer has estimated that PS 19's peak flow capacity is likely in the range of 350 gallons per minute. Recent flow monitoring data from November 28, 2025, Black Friday, indicated a measured peak flow of 347.5 gallons per minute. As the project's peak hourly flow is 42 gallons per minute, the anticipated wastewater flow from the project would exceed the capacity of PS 19. Whereas the Planning Board as lead agency has carefully reviewed and considered Part 1 of the long environmental assessment form, application materials, public comments, and environmental record concerning the project, as well as completed the applicable Parts 2 and 3 of the FEAF, and has carefully reviewed and considered comments provided by various consulting entities, including the town engineer, Lobella Associates, and the Town of Farmington Water and Sewer Department, and identified a significant adverse impact to the town's sanitary sewer conveyance system, specifically PS 19. And, Joe, you want to take over? Sure. Top of the next page.
Whereas replacement of PS 19 is not identified on the town's 5-year capital plan for replacement, and the anticipated project would accelerate the town's expenditures for PS 19 replacement, and the town engineer has prepared an opinion of probable project cost for replacement of PS 19 that would accommodate existing wastewater flows as well as wastewater flows from the project, where said opinion of probable cost is $1.29 million, and whereas engineering and related costs as well as legal costs associated with PS 19 replacement are expected to be $195,200 $1,500 as described in a Labella letter to the town's project manager dated July 3rd, 2025, as well as a supplemental Labella memorandum to the town's project manager dated August 8th, 2025, and whereas the Town of Victor Town Board is currently negotiating with the applicant to participate in sharing costs associated with replacement of PS 19, but an agreement between the Town Board and the applicant has not been yet been reached. Now therefore it be resolved that the Town of Victor Planning Board hereby affirms its status as lead agency, and be it further resolved that a potential significant adverse environmental impact was identified with the proposed project using the criteria for determining significance identified in 6 NYCRR 6177C1 and in accordance with 6 NYCRR 6177C2 and 3, namely that the town's sanitary sewer infrastructure PS 19 does not have the capacity to accept wastewater flows from the project. However, the planning board hereby finds and concludes that the proposed action and project could eliminate and avoid the potential significant adverse environmental impact, providing the following condition is met. Due to the project accelerating the town's expenditures for replacement of PS 19, the applicant participate in funding a portion of costs associated with PS 19 replacement in an amount and format agreed by the town board and town attorney. Be it further resolved that the planning board issues a conditional negative declaration wherein the above-mentioned condition must be met, and be it further resolved, a notice of conditional negative declaration shall be filed and/or published to the extent required by the Seeker A regulations and as the Town of Victor Planning Board may deem advisable. And be it further resolved that the planning board will accept comments on the conditioned negative declaration until 4 p.m. on February 19th, 2026, which complies with the minimum 30-day public comment period as required by Seekers A implementing regulations, where said comment period begins on the date that the notice of the conditioned negative declaration is published in the environmental notice bulletin. And be it further resolved that the planning board's adoption of the conditional negative declaration has been prepared in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law of the State of New York and implemented under 6 NYCRR Part 617. And be it further resolved that the planning board secretary distribute the planning board's seeker determination.
Okay, a lengthy resolution, but are there any comments, questions? No? Okay. So, Wes, any other thoughts before we make a motion for approval of this resolution?
Well, as you saw in the resolution, I wasn't aware of it at first, but the public comment period, the 30-day public comment period actually begins when the notice shows up or is published in the environmental notice bulletin. So this would require that by tomorrow at 2 p.m. we submit, and I can do that for the planning board. We can, if you so choose to move forward with the resolution, I can file that notice with the ENB, which would show up in next Wednesday's
Okay.
publication at the ENB. So that's when the public comment period starts. 30
Okay,
days.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that clarification. So, with that said, any objection to moving forward with the resolution? In which case, I'll ask for a motion for approval of that seeker resolution.
I'll
I'll move it.
Okay, Scott moves.
second.
Sound like Joe is anxious to second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed 5-0.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Peter, before I'll let you go. We had requested improved photo simulations, and for the next meeting that you guys come forward to us, can you have that ready?
Yes, we would.
Okay, and then lighting, the lighting plan and building elevations would be important to see how much light comes off of those. 'Cause-
Correct, yeah, the lighting, the simulations of building lighting with parking lot lighting.
So
Yep.
actual photo simulations would be certainly desirable.
Yep.
So,
Yes,
okay.
no, we understand that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow, okay. James. Woods of Allentown, Section 2-4, High Point Drive, applicants requesting acknowledgement of complete application to subdivide 71 for sale townhomes and construct a 4-story apartment building within 100 units, with 100 units on 56.87 acre parcel. First step in a major subdivision, only acknowledgement of a completed application will be considered at this meeting. Mr.
Good evening.
Kritikos.
I'm James Kritikos. I'm with BME Associates as well. Here on behalf of Commercial Street Partners. They're the applicant. I figured what I'll start with is a little background on the project, just kind of as a refresher, because this project's been going on since early 2000s now.
Can
as well
everyone
as
hear
for-
James, by the way? Can you hear him okay? All right. You
All right,
may need to-
I'll make sure I speak in here a
That'd be
little better.
Thanks.
So like I mentioned, this project kind of started back in the early 2000s. I think the original application we submitted to the town was around 2003. We went through a full DEIS, FEIS for the High Point Business Park. This included all 3 of the office buildings and included the Woods of Allentown parcel, which was referred to as the HOA lot at the time. It included High Point Retail's phases 1, 2, and 3. So this is what is the north face lot, what is now where the taco place is, as well as Relax's Spa, and then the Olive Garden and the Starbucks Cobblestone building. The Woods of Allentown lot is the last parcel of the PDD to be developed. This, like I mentioned, kind of originally, as part of the project, was composed of townhouses. This being the last phase, it kind of sat for a number of years, and then in approximately 2017, 2018, with the Rinaldis, we submitted an application to revise the Woods of Allentown parcel to apartments. At the time, I believe the PDD was amended, and we had an approved 295 units. At the time, it also included the addition of what we were referring to as Phase 5, which is the kind of the northwest corner of the property. I believe it added this area. It's about 5 acres approximately.
Yeah, I was going to ask, that's the part that you added, or that was added, that land to this overall application?
Correct. It always had been, there was like about right here, there was where the lot was before. So there was always the 3 stubs into the different sections. So the overall footprint, the development areas, the disturbance are all very consistent. And we'll be going through all that with you guys at future meetings. So what we're doing now is, after we went through the 2017, 2018, we did the modifications to the PDD, went through the town board process, we came to you guys. We went through a secret comparison to show you guys how the various land use, we'll call green space, impervious areas, disturbance areas, development footprints, water, sewer, basically all the secret items, and we showed how we're comparable to the original. And you guys reaffirmed a secret negative declaration, I believe it was April 23rd, 2019. At the same time, you guys reissued a site plan approval for the whole site. That was reapproved in 2021, and then in a little bit shortly after that, that's when Commercial Street Partners got involved. Dave Christa, they acquired ownership of the Woods of Allentown property, and then we came in for you guys for a final approval on Section 1. At the time, what we had before with the PDD was we had 4 21-unit buildings. To make this work a little bit more economically, they kind of mushed those 2 together, so we have 2 42-unit buildings instead of the 4 separate ones. This allowed us to make some economies with, shared elevator shafts. The underground parking helped with some economics of that. That project was approved by you guys in July 26, 2022. We lapsed the year on that. We did our 2 extensions, and so that has now, the final approval on that has expired. That application we resubmitted to you guys about a month ago. We will be on your meeting for that in 2 weeks. We resubmitted the signed Mylars. There are effectively no changes at all to that project. The only things that are going to kind of get updated as part of that is we'll be relooking at the bioretention sizing based on the new DEC criteria and the new filter media, which is a little bit more effective than what it used to be, as well as kind of doing another, I'll call it a supplement to the engineer's report from 2019. Basically, we're going to go through and update the drainage because it's the whole project and give you guys enough information to show that we're still compliant with all the thresholds. Water and sewer uses are going to be a little bit lower because we're dropping down about 39 units with this conversion. So from the 294 units that were approved with the PDD. The plan now is, like I mentioned, to keep section 1 the same, so this will be consistent of 84 units in the clubhouse with the two 42-unit buildings. Up in section 2 now, this has changed from what was 3 three-story buildings down to 31 townhouse lots. Section 3, this used to be 2 3-story apartment units with 60 units. This is now going to be a 4-story, 100-unit apartment building. This is where we're kind of taking some of the density from the northwest and northeast areas and pushing it into the apartment building, and I'll come back to that in a second. And then the Phase 4 area now, the remainder of the parcel up here in the northwest corner, this is the remaining 40 townhouse lots.
Those are for sale townhouses.
For sale townhouse lots.
Thank you.
I don't have it shown here, but basically what's going to happen is we're going to be making a subdivision line right here. So this will all be an HOA lot with the individual townhouse for sale lots. It'll be part of an HOA. And then same thing for this corner here. We're going to strike a line through the wooded area here and along the north side of the power line easement and basically make an HOA lot here. Everything else, so all of section 1, all of section 2, the stormwater bond, the easements, the interior portion, that's all wooded and conservation easement, that's all going to be lands to remain. That'll be retained by Commercial Street Partners operating the apartment units. In terms of layout, it's, like I said, it's all going to be the exact same. All the road stubs on High Point Drive were installed. We're going to keep all those exact same locations. Water is going to be served by the same methodologies before. We're just going to connect onto the 2 stubs of the locations and serve public water up through the sites. Now that it's for sale lots, the Water Authority will take it into dedication, so we won't have to do the some of the backflow stuff that had kind of come up a little bit before. So it kind of simplified a lot of things for the development end.
How much of the roads of the stubs are public or dedicated versus private?
The plan is still to have all the roads be private with access and utility easements to the town for their use. But the HOA is going to end up owning, this whole stub and basically from this intersection up. And then Commercial Street Partners will own basically their little drive, the parking lot, as well as everything private down in section 1 like they were doing before.
Okay. So the main spine road is still dedicated?
Excuse me?
Main spine road?
Yes, yeah, High Point
No,
Drive is
High Point
all,
Drive.
is dedicated, that's all constructed.
okay.
We're not planning on basically doing anything in the right of way.
Yep.
Storm or sanitary sewers, same idea. We're just going to basically finish the connection through section 1 and then basically tie these into these to get served down. And this all goes down to the pump station down by the beer project. Everything else, office buildings, all this sewer comes down this way. So it's already taken care of. It's separate from what we're looking at here. Stormwater, that's already going to be managed by, the existing pond that was built here, Stormwater Management Facility B, as well as Stormwater Management Facility A. It's not really shown here, but this is an infiltration basin up at the north end. That's been installed and in operation for close to 20 years now without any issues, and we've been doing the annual inspection reports, so. There will be a little bit of expansion to this just to make sure that we can hold the volume in there and get it to infiltrate, keeping the same kind of ponding elevations. Easements, what we're going to do is the same approach that we plan to do with the last round of approvals, and I know when Kim Kinsella was here, we had talked extensively about conservation easements, access and utility easements. A lot of the easements from the original HOA lot plan with the townhouses at the time had conservation easements established, access and utility easements established. The plan was basically we're going to wipe them all out and then reestablish everything. Areas are going to be all the same in terms of like conservation easements, but we need to tweak some of the boundaries, get them outside of, a building or, basically kind of reflushing that all out. So we'll do easement plans as part of our application, really try and outline exactly what we're doing and help with the comparisons. In terms of green space, right now my calc is about 80%. We were about 82% with the last Woods of Allentown approval, so there is about an acre increase impervious. That's really the factor of taking the 3-story apartment units and spreading them out into the townhouse lots.
Houses are 1 or 2 stories?
The townhouse lots are 2 stories.
2 stories,
Yep.
okay.
So I think kind of the biggest change, obviously, with the project is the apartments and the townhouse, so the 2 through 4. So as I mentioned, we're here for section 1 next time. We'll go through that. We'll look at the building elevations, clubhouse, and we can answer any questions about that. That's not changing. The big change is, again, going from the 3-story apartments down to a 2-story townhouse up at the top of the hill. So visibility is going to be decreasing up here from what it used to be. And then the 4-story apartment building, the eave of this building sits about at the finished floor of these buildings. So this gets very well hidden here behind grade, the wood lines, and things like that. So we really don't expect there to be much, if any, view of the 4-story building from Valentine Road.
Were there sections that you guys generated that cut through this to show a more
Yes, so as
graphical-
part of our PDD application to the town board, there were a couple cross-sections, I think one that went through this way, another one that went toward Valentine, and those are based on the conceptual elevations. They were all, within plus or minus 5 feet, I think, of what we actually ended up with after we graded and tried to balance the site. But those do reflect what's going on, and we can bring those
Yeah.
Next time and go over those, specifically to
I think
show how
the-
that relationship
Yeah,
works.
For both the board and the neighbors.
Yep, and we understand that the visibility is kind of the biggest thing, but I think the change in this project actually is a benefit. It will be less visible overall because we're going from the 3-story up at the top of the hill with the big mass buildings down to a 2-story townhouse. So it'll be a lot more fitting in the context of the site.
Okay.
So moving forward, again, like I said, we'll be here in 2 weeks for reapproval section 1. We're planning on submitting sections 2 through 4 preliminary subdivision application to you guys next week to be on the agenda for the 2nd February meeting tentatively. Obviously, we'll go through that with you guys. Once we get preliminary approvals, we're going to be looking to basically submit final ASAP. Our preliminary plans are going to try and basically be final level plans to get everything kind of flushed out, water, sewer, any of Labella's comments. That way, when we move into final, it should be pretty straightforward. That's kind of the main overview right now. I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. We can get into some detail if you want now, but obviously, we're going to be here several more meetings discussing this, so.
I appreciate the overview. This is not a public hearing this evening, so we wouldn't be entertaining questions. You'll have plenty of opportunity to do that with future meetings when it comes to preliminary plans, because this is just sketch plan review for the board, or completion. Any questions from the board? I don't know, Trish, you probably haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, no, I do not have any questions.
Okay. Scott?
I guess my comment would be, what you stated is pretty identical to what Peter Vars stated, I think, the last time that he was here presenting the project. And I think we mentioned, or at least I mentioned, that I recall when the project first went in, doing the balloon test at the top and that sort of thing. It's always been a very highly visible area. And so to Joe's point, you have a visual impact analysis would be really helpful to us, I think. So I just want to restate that.
Okay. Al?
Nothing else.
Okay. Joe?
I support what Scott's saying, and I think actually the change from apartment buildings to townhouses, I think, is going to help in that regard. But I think the test is still appropriate just to validate that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm pretty sure we have those balloon studies, heights, and even the photos still from when we submitted them before. I mean, they won't be exactly this, but we can say this balloon was flown at this height and this building's going to be this height and kind of show you how it will be hidden from those key views. And I believe we did, I know we flew the balloons on section 1 here from the views here. I have a feeling they weren't visible here, if I'm recalling correctly. And I know the ones over here off Turk Hill were just at the very top of the tree. So moving them down whatever 10, 15 feet in height is really going to get you below the tree line. So I'm happy to dust those off and bring those in next time.
I would also just add, driving down Valentine Road today, for example, in the winter, in a leaf-off condition, there's a lot you can see in there. And so when I look at those buildings that are close to Valentine Road, and I agree with the other ones that you're talking about, I think that's the most sensitive area in terms of a visual impact right there.
Section 1 here?
Yep.
Yeah, and that was something that we obviously went through with the board extensively when we did section 1 approvals, and that's why we're not proposing any changes to that. So that way we can leave everything exactly the same. But I'm happy to get the balloon studies and pictures for those out too, so you can kind of see how and those are all very consistent.
Yeah, I think we'd still like to see that.
Sure.
Anything else, Joe? Wes?
Yeah, James, could you describe, with regard to the townhouses, the northwest area, could you describe how that has been modified, your sketch has been modified compared to the previous apartments in relation to the Ruida residence that's next door?
Sure. So the Rueda residence is this parcel right here. They've got like a long private driveway that comes up at like 10 to 15%. And then they have their, I believe, a side load garage of their rear yard facing to the east. So one of the things that we did when we made this change, this used to be, I believe it was 230-unit buildings, or 321-unit buildings, I think is what we ended up with. So we had one building here and then two kind of on this northern property line with, or I'm sorry, we had the drive on the northern property line and two here with the rears facing south. So now what we've done with this, we modified the PDD application a tiny bit. We tweaked these last two buildings and rotated these so that way there's a side, just one unit here facing the Rueda residence. It also allows us to walk these two buildings out to grade. So we have full walkouts on the back to basically fit in with the context of the slope, as opposed to trying to build a 20-plus foot retaining wall to hold the buildings. And then we also have these two other buildings here. This is area that was, we had just like a bioretention area in here. This is kind of where we've expanded some of this. So we will have some rears of these 8 units here that will be, up to the property line. We're going to comply, obviously, with the 50-foot setback to the lot, and then we'll have another 20 foot to the building. So we've got about 70 feet from property line to the building on those locations, which is, well above what, normal residential to residential screening is. And obviously with the reduction from the larger massed apartment buildings down to these, we feel it's appropriate. And, if there was any other residential to residential property, that would be more than adequate for the town.
Do I understand correctly, then maybe there's some residential buildings that are a little bit closer to the property line than the previous design, but you're complying with your setback requirements?
Yeah, so it's basically these two buildings right here, the ones that end up getting a little bit closer because they weren't effectively there before. It was one building here and then another building here. And we can do an overlay exhibit if you guys would
Yeah,
like, just
I
to
was gonna
kind of
ask
show the outlines of the buildings before versus what we're looking at now.
Yeah, and if you could give us a sense of the tree line, that's not just the tree line, but the density of larger trees in that portion, to see what you can save for additional screening, or not additional, but to save as much screening as you can behind these two townhouses and perhaps over here as well.
Yeah, and I don't know the density of the trees out here because I haven't walked this in a number of years now. But there are quite a bit of vegetation too on
Yeah.
the neighboring property as well. So, and if we needed to supplement with something to block, low stuff, I'm sure we can talk to
Okay.
Commercial Street about if we need to do like a
Um,
privacy fence or some screening supplemental stuff there.
Natural as possible, I think, is always good.
Right. But the way we've tried to configure this is, with the rears of the lots here, there shouldn't be any headlights going into their backyard. And at the end of this drive here, we'll obviously do enough screening here to prevent any sort of headlights from those couple units that would be driving down that little portion of that drive.
So parking is all at grade in front of the buildings.
They all have garages. They should be able to fit 1 to 2
Okay.
cars in there, and they'll have another space for 1 to 2 cars in the driveway. Yep. And then we have some visitor spaces. Basically everything on here, apartments and townhouses, is providing at least 2 parking spaces per unit.
Okay, cool. Anything else from anyone?
Just more clarification on the parking. So as I'm looking on one of the sketch plans, it looks like, so you're saying that there's parking in the garage, plus there's parking before the garage.
Correct. So each of the townhouse units, they all have a garage, and then they have the driveway's 25 feet long by
So
16
it would
foot wide.
accommodate 2 cars in the driveway? And then there's looks like for every 8 units, there's an overflow of 2 parking spots for like company coming in? Is that accurate?
Approximately. Yep.
Okay, so there's you could fit at least 2 cars in each outside driveway as well?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you can fit 3 to 4 vehicles in the townhouse
Okay.
lots. The apartment units, these are exactly at 2 parking spaces per unit. There's I believe it's 1 unit or 1 parking space that's in each of like the sub-level garages. These all have drive-in parking, so for the 4-story, 100-unit building and these larger buildings, we're maintaining that ability for them to have covered parking. So-
Right. And then the apartment building would have, it looks like an open parking lot.
You'll have an open surface lot with, let's say approximately 100 spots, and then a garage floor parking. So there's 4 stories of apartment units, and then there's a
Oh,
basement
okay.
with a drive-in
Okay.
garage.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that you can get, that's what this little drive-in at the end is here. And then obviously, this will be a lot more clear once we get plans in with everything.
Like, could you compare it to the apartments on School Street? They have ground level parking and 4 stories of apartments up above.
Yeah,
Smaller.
approximately, except our first floor is at grade with 4 stories up. and
Okay,
then
so
the
any parking
parking's
would be
below.
actually
Yeah, so
subgrade.
you see 4 stories exposed on this
Okay,
southeastern
all right.
face. You will see 5 stories exposed on the west face where it butts up to the wetland, just so that way we can open up windows to the garage. It helps with a lot of fire codes, something the fire marshal also appreciates.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Unless there's an objection, we have a resolution for sketch plan approval, completion of completed sketch plan. Yeah, all right. So, I'll read that. It's relatively short compared to the last one. Woods of Allentown, High Point Drive, sketch approval, whereas the planning board made the following findings of fact. Number 1, a sketch plan application consisting of but not limited to letter of intent, sketch plan application form, sketch plan drawing set, and aerial photograph were received on December 30th, 2025 from Commercial Street Partners, LLC, known as the applicant, by the Secretary of the Planning Board for a major subdivision entitled Woods at Valentine Subdivision, known as the project, for the property located on High Point Drive in Victor, New York. Number 2, it is the intent of the project to subdivide 71 for-sale townhomes and construct a 4-story apartment building with 100 units on a 56.87-acre parcel, 2 42-unit 3-story buildings, and a clubhouse. That's that. I just added that, or Lisa did it on number 2. Number 3, this is an under review sign and was posted on the subject parcel as required by town code. Number 4, Codes Department reviewed the sketch plan on January 8th, 2026, and provided comments. Number 5, landscape consultant reviewed the sketch plan on January 12th, 2026, and provided comments. Now therefore be it resolved that regarding the sketch plan application of Commercial Street Partners, LLC, major subdivision entitled Woods at Valentine Subdivision, drawn by BME Associates, dated July 16th, 2025, last revised December 29th, 2025, received by the Planning Board December 30th, 2025. You guys were busy. Over the holidays. Planning Board application number 01SK 2026. The Planning Board acknowledges receipt of a complete sketch plat application, and be it further resolved that the Planning Board Secretary forward a copy of this resolution to the applicant. So on this amended resolution, entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move.
Al moves,
I'll second.
and second, Tricia, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried 5-0.
Thank you guys very much. We'll see you in a couple
See
weeks.
you next time. I believe that's it. Unless anyone has any objections, motion for adjournment.
So there is I'm a big fan of these lunch and learns that the New York State Planning Federation does. And on January 20th, there's a 2-hour session coming up on battery energy storage systems. And with the proliferation of lithium-ion batteries, I know it's a concern for the local emergency planning commission. I'm going to do my best to get to it, and it looks like a pretty good subject for everybody. So
Where
if
is
you want
it?
me to forward the email to
Yeah.
Lisa to
Yep,
get
yeah,
out.
forward it to Lisa if we have.
It's a new registration process. You don't have to pre-register. You just join the meeting, and it makes it a lot easier.
Go
to attend.
online?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
even
it's all
better.
online. Yes.
Sorry, what day was that?
20th of January.
January 20th.
January 20th?
Yep, from noon to 2, and I'll get it to Lisa,
Yep.
And then you can send it out?
And this counts 2 hours of training.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, that's all I got.
Okay, 2 of your 4 hours will be
2 of your
taken care
4.
of in January. That's excellent. Motion,
Move.
Al moves to adjourn.
I'll second.
Nobody wants to go home. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Joe, on the subject of batteries,
Uh-huh.
regarding the solar farm that we approved